It's crazy.
And we do a 1 minute timer.
Ooh. Okay, les bras.
Here we are.
Épaule, élargie. No stress.
And music starts at 40 seconds.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking.
Une petite musique de salle d'attente. Very nice waiting room music. 台湾人不敢相信台湾新闻。Oh, I get notification now. So people are gonna start joining very, very soon.
Ooh.
Eight.
Wow.
Okay. Hi everyone and welcome back to Taiwan's biggest live stream commenting Taiwanese related news in English on YouTube. Not entirely sure if that is accurate or not, but until someone proves me wrong, that is going to be the intro for this YouTube video series. Today we have Yuan Yuan back.
Hello.
As always. An applaud for him. And we also have a hopefully familiar face with Germain from France. Germain, when was the last time we made a video together?
No upload for me?
Oh, okay, sorry.
Last video together, I guess around a year ago.
Yeah.
We did something about the cost of living.
What?
What?
If I remember well.
Yeah,
And
maybe we did, yeah.
Another thing about, I forgot what was the topic.
We talked about, I remember we talked about Linko.
Linko, yeah, we talked about Linko.
Living in Linko.
Oh, how convenient Taiwan is.
Yes,
I remember
the electric stairs.
The code brown and everything.
Electric stairs and Linko, yes.
Yeah.
You're no stranger to be part of YouTube videos. What has you've been up to since last time we saw you here?
What I've been up to? Well, a lot of things changed in my life. I got married. My wife is a YouTuber also. And we started recording some video together and she wants to include me more and more. So I appear. I will keep a secret which channel. Maybe you guys can find out by yourself.
You need to subscribe to her channel in order to see like more of your private life. That's
But
that's good.
I think if it's around your world also.
Yeah.
So maybe they can find it.
For people who has joined my YouTube channel membership, you can just tell me afterwards, and I will tell you and share all the secrets of everything I know about Germain and his YouTube wife. But that's not why we are here today, because we are here to talk about recent Taiwanese news. And I think the biggest Taiwan-related news in international media is that Taiwan's healthcare is the best in the world.
Wow.
Applause. And before we get too much in, I just want to make sure if we can get some chat confirmation now that we have audio and that people are listening to us. So if anyone could just let us know that the audio quality is good before we get too much into all the comments here.
Like 2 weeks ago, we talked for a little while, and after a while, we find people say, "Guys, we don't hear anything."
Exactly, and we don't have a single comment yet. So I hope that means that it's all good. But I just wanted to get a confirmation before we start. Yeah, we continue getting thumbs up. So I assume everything is good.
Yes, your intro done.
Done.
ET done.
Done. Okay.
Good.
Okay.
So healthcare, #1 in the world. That is a very.
So can you just check on your phone, because I think the audio level might not be good right now.
Oh really?
Because it might be the wrong sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay, perfect. Then it's time for us to jump in and talk about the healthcare in Taiwan. I think most people have already heard about this news, because according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, this was the 7th year in a row where Taiwan was actually ranked number 1 in the entire world. But if you dig a little bit deeper into this, it's called Numbeo, who are the ones who have made this like ranking.
Okay.
Then a lot more interesting news are coming up. With the biggest one, I think, is that if you look at the ranking per city, then Kaohsiung is number 1 in the world.
In the world?
In the world, and
Kaohsiung.
Yes, Kaohsiung. And Taipei is number 2.
Wow.
So Taiwan is actually taking top 2 spots in like the best cities in the world.
In this study made by the Taiwanese.
Yes, yes.
Wow, no, that's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, especially Kaohsiung is the first, because every Taiwanese I know only swear by NTU hospital. Like NTU is the best, NTU.
Our Danish friend Martin is back here as well, saying the best healthcare system in the world. I agree. Anything that is not Swedish is better. Yeah, we are going to compare Sweden and Taiwan later here. So this might be a Danish person's favorite episode, because Sweden does not look good in this comparison.
Oh.
Yeah. More comments are popping in here. That I guess that means that.
Oh,
Well, okay.
somebody revealed the big secret here.
Yes. Aji,
What?
congratulations from the chat. The chat says that you're gonna become a dad.
Wow! News are coming so fast around.
So yeah, this just so you know, because the screen is so small.
Yes.
So I don't see the actual comments
Okay.
before they end up in the live stream. That's very bad miss for me. So
it's okay.
It's a very
I mean,
dangerous
it's not a
game.
secret anymore, because my wife announced it everywhere.
Yes.
So I don't think it's a secret. But we are not here to talk about my baby, are we?
No, not until the
But-
baby is born and you take care of the healthcare.
But I must say, I'm very happy we are in Taiwan, and to know that they have the best healthcare and also very good doctors. And I know everyone will be safe, my wife, my baby, and I don't have any fear to having a baby in Taiwan, actually.
You need to go down to the Kaohsiung to
I
get
need
like
to go to the
even
Kaohsiung, it's
even
true.
better care. Yes.
Before she was talking about Linko Hospital, I told her, no, Kaohsiung is the way to go.
Yeah. So I am. I think like 2-3 weeks ago we talked about like healthcare or something, and I said that I have actually never used my Genbaoka, like my health insurance. Like in my 14 years,
I have been sick.
I've been sick, but I've never been sick enough to go to a hospital until like last week. So I've actually been using my insurance card now, but that ended up potentially costing me 60,000 Taiwanese dollars. Although I have a health insurance card.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to make a dedicated video about that next week. So please do remember to subscribe and check that out for more information. But yeah, I was surprised because I did not expect to pay anything, actually, to be honest. But I wanted to ask you guys, do you have any experience with like Taiwanese healthcare system, your Genbaoka, your insurance cards, or just like healthcare in general in Taiwan? Do you have like a...
I mean, about me, every time I have to use my Genbaoka anywhere, first I was very surprised about how efficient is the Taiwan system. In France, when you want to take an appointment at the hospital, you have about 2 to 3 years of waiting. In Taiwan, in the next 10 days, you have an appointment to see a specialist. I'm not talking about a generalist, to see a specialist. So that's amazing how efficient they can be. And every time I have paid close to nothing for every treatment I had, and I already did a general anesthesia operation and stuff like that. So, okay, in France it's also almost free for everything, but the efficiency and how long you have to wait, it's a totally different world. In way they are waiting you die before you can go to the doctor. In Taiwan, in 5 minutes you have an appointment, someone helping you.
Yeah.
And the price is quite small, I must say. So I totally understand why Taiwan is the top in the world. It's amazing. I don't know, François, you have any story?
The one thing I can mention is I often go to the I forgot the name.
Rehabilitation
Yeah,
hospital.
the
no?
rehabilitation clinic, like
Ah.
the sports clinic. I forgot the Chinese name, but it's this place where if you have like sports-related injuries, you go, you pay 250, so it's less than 10 USD, to see a doctor. They do like ultrasound, whatever, and then the next 6 appointments cost 50 NT, like 1.5 USD, you know. So you get 6 total appointments, including a doctor consultation, for less than 20 USD. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So because I run and I do sports, I often have some body, back, knee problems, and I go there quite a lot. It's amazing.
I think a lot of people who live abroad, especially in the US, come back in Taiwan for their treatment because it's cheaper, more efficient. I mean, it's just better overall. So people are just coming back in Taiwan.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I totally understand this. They are working so hard to go to America, but in the end, Taiwan is better. They are coming back.
I think they are even considering changing some rules for that, right? Because a lot of people actually they live in the US for 20 years, and when they come back, I think they pay a little extra, and then they are back in the system and they can use the Genbao card.
Yeah.
So,
I think in France they do the same.
okay.
But they are going. Maybe they will change. Someday they will change the system. But I'm surprised that Taiwan is #1 in the world.
What really surprised me actually, like when I did go and do my checkup, like I can book my time online.
Yeah.
It was in English as well, which I didn't even like. I would never assume that I could have done it in English, and you could like choose the doctor.
Yep.
They have this like it's like a menu.
You
Like
see their CVs.
you see the CVs and you see everything,
Yeah.
and then like you see the languages that they speak and can like help you in.
Mm.
And I was like, this is like unbelievable, you know. I had no idea that it was gonna be like this.
Do you judge the doctors when you do this? Like,
It's
oh, they look
How
a
did he
little
get hired in the
bit-
first
They look strict. They no, it doesn't.
But actually, I do that. I will try to check who looked the nicest and everything like that.
Who looked the nicest?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's in my brain. The more I see if the guy looks super good, I will think, oh, he's a good doctor.
One thing that surprised me, because like so I was talking with Minthia, my wife, before I was going there, and she went like online, like outside of the hospital website, to look for like reviews and stuff.
They do that.
And she was like, oh, this doctor is like extra famous and extra good, and like my friend recommends him or her, you know. And it just felt so weird because like when I grew up in Sweden, there was like we have one hospital and we have like one person that does everything. Like if something wrong with your leg, you go to that one leg doctor. You have something wrong with your stomach, you go to that one stomach doctor.
Was
you
it
know?
a big city hospital?
No, of course not. It's like Swedish forest, you know.
Swedish
So
forest
I was
only
like-
have one doctor.
I was so surprised that you even had a choice and they let you choose, you know.
No, I must say,
That's right.
in France, we still have specialists, right?
We have
If you hurt your
specialists.
hand,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
legs, or something, they will still send you. But in France, first you need to go to see a generalist, then they will send you to see a specialist.
Yeah. So
Oh.
that you cannot do anything spontaneously.
Yes. Whereas in Taiwan, if you feel you have some problem, I don't know, with your skin, you just go directly to see the specialist for skin.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait. Again, like I said, in France, you need to wait 2 years before having any appointment. Then
Yeah.
your cancer is here and you are dead already, basically.
Yeah. It was so fun. Like when
So
I,
if you want to leave, come in Taiwan.
I went to the hospital and I was sitting there waiting at the waiting room. I was like texting with my mom and it's like, hi, like I can. She wanted to call me or something, and I was like, I cannot call right now. I'm at the hospital, but I can chat. And then I was like, oh, it's a little annoying. I have to like wait for like 10 minutes right now. And she's like, what? Your dad has been waiting for a surgery for 6 months. And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay, I can wait like maybe 10 more minutes.
It's amazing. But do they share on the website on what criteria they are judging this?
Yes.
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 Are we gonna talk about it? or is
Are we going to talk about this? Ooh, who knows? Yes, we are. So we do have the healthcare in Taiwan, according to like this Numbeo, which is like this website. Basically, we're not going to go through everything like in detail, but basically every single thing in Taiwan that they have ranked is very, very high. And it's like the skill and competency of the medical staff. It's the equipment that they're using in the hospital. The accuracy and completeness in filling out the reports, the satisfaction with the cost, how cheap it is, and also the convenience of location. And Taiwan scored like the highest of very high as the grade in everything other than the satisfaction with responsiveness, waiting time in medical institutions. So the worst part about the Taiwanese healthcare system is that they had to wait, but it still ranked like high satisfaction with like 79.93%.
And how much weight are we talking about? Because I feel it's far from being the 1 year we just talked about.
Exactly. Based on the little I know about Taiwanese healthcare, it's like people going to the hospital and waiting in the hospital. Whereas like in Sweden, you wait 6 months before you even go to the hospital. And then you wait like 3 hours, and then the 3 hours seems to be like nothing, you know, in comparison to like how long you waited before. So I think that might be how it is here. And just to put this number in comparison with our previous, our precious countries by ourselves. So Taiwan, in total, overall, ranked 86.66% satisfaction in this. Sweden has 68.4 in comparison. And Sweden only has one very high, which is the equipment for modern diagnosis and treatment. So we have great equipment, but everything else sucks basically in Sweden. With the completion examinations and reports and the satisfaction with responsiveness waiting time being like the lowest in Sweden, being like only 43.59%.
Sometimes I feel Taiwanese don't see how good their country is, how amazing they are doing things. Maybe they feel sometimes they are in the shadow of some other big country or things like that, but they must realize that they are totally not. They are on the top on so many levels, for so many skills, for so many things. They can be super proud. Really.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of need to have experience like the healthcare in several countries in order for yourself to make a comparison, right?
True.
Like,
if you don't know it, yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And if we take a closer look at France, we have 77.65. So
not too
better
bad.
than Sweden.
Better than how
deserves an applause. Again, it's the waiting time that drags down the overall thing.
People are dying before going to doctor. I know.
You have the equipment, you have the competency of the medical staff, and they're very satisfied with the cost and the convenience of location.
Yeah, a little bit like Genbauka, we pay very little price and we have free service pretty much.
Actually, about location, we had a lot of news recently that there is more and more medical desert in France. Where, like my grandma, she lives in a small countryside. There is no doctor. You need to, 1 hour car to see the first doctor. And it's happening more and more in France because, of course, young doctors don't want to go to countryside anymore. Everyone wants to be in the city. So there's just more and more desert everywhere. So actually, I'm surprised that location is that good.
Back home in Sweden, like we have like 45 minutes to the nearest hospital.
Wow.
So it's like, you know, if they're sending an ambulance, it's like 1.5 hours, right? Like both ways.
Wow.
And it was so funny. I remember. It wasn't
so funny.
It wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. But the first time I visited a Taiwanese hospital was when my ex-girlfriend got sick, and she just like started like puking like crazy, like for like no reason, like worst kind of. I guess it was like food poisoning. I don't know. But it was like in the middle of the night, like 1 a.m. We jumped in a cab from Gongwan at the time, and we went to, I think it's like this big hospital around like Renai Circle somewhere. I forgot the name of the hospital.
Cathay maybe?
Cathay could be, yeah. We went in, and the first thing that happened was like she got like a needle, like a shot, to just make her stop puking. And then they like, okay, now you're not puking anymore, so now we can like actually like examine you. And they found like, okay, take some pills and like you're okay. I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was like something that she ate or whatever. And then after like maybe like 15 minutes, we were back in a cab again. And all in all, it took 40 minutes to go from home, getting a cab on the street, like not an ambulance or anything, to the hospital, doing like the check, and then back again. In like,
that is crazy.
Like faster than it would take to even go to the hospital in Sweden.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I think I got a little similar experience. It was during Chinese New Year.
Oh.
So yeah, it was so busy. I think it
This
was
year or
like 2 years ago.
Okay.
My teeth was hurting so bad, almost to the point I will fall down. I went to the hospital, and the same as your friend, they gave me a shot like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes after I arrived to release the pain. They treated me, gave me medicine, back home. And everything for, I don't know, $200.
Yeah.
And like, wow. I took the MRT to come and back, no cap. It was amazing.
Lower the cost.
No, really. It was
Wow.
amazing.
Oh, that's really, really good, yeah.
As a foreigner in a new country and everything like that, I was just so surprised how good they are taking care of me. Super amazing.
Yeah. Could not summarize it better myself.
Once more, Taiwan #1.
Taiwan #1. But this Nambio who made this list, they are also putting together all different kinds of statistics and comparisons. So not only do we have like the healthcare, which Taiwan 1 is like best in the world, we also have average quality of life as well, which basically like summarizes like a lot of different things and putting it together. So that's also something that I wanted to talk about throughout the rest of today here. And starting off with the quality of life comparison between Taipei and Stockholm. So now it's like on a city level here. So we have Taipei to represent the entire Taiwan. And basically, when it comes to the safety index, and when it comes to the cost of living, Taipei is just like crushing Stockholm. There's like no comparison.
No surprise.
No surprise. But there are also a lot of different like information here because I think it could be a little bit skewed because we're talking about like averages over the course of like a whole city. And me as a foreigner, like if you go online to, for example, like Reddit or any other like online forums, one of the most common questions about Taiwan for foreigners who don't yet already live in Taiwan is like, how much money do I need? So it's like at every start of like an exchange student semester, for example, like all these students, like I'm gonna be in Taiwan for like 6 months. How much money do I need? So I thought that we're gonna talk a little bit about money and also the overall quality of life. And here we have the quality of life comparison between Taipei and Paris.
Okay.
And I think again it was like the safety index and the cost of living that was a lot cheaper in Taipei compared to Paris. And well, there was something else here, like the pollution index was something that I wanted to ask you guys about, because according to this, it is like almost, it's 48 in Taipei on the bottom row here, where it's 63 in Paris. And I don't know if this is true, so I basically just wanted to check with you guys.
I'm surprised. It means that Paris is
More polluted.
More polluted. Paris is more polluted.
Because I've heard recently Paris made a lot of efforts about this, about car circulation and everything. So I'm super surprised that Paris is still more polluted than Taipei, actually.
But in some way, Taipei is also one of the least polluted cities of Taiwan. Okay, maybe not the lowest. Like maybe some places like Hualien or Taitung are better because it's on the east coast. But Taipei is much less polluted than Taichung or Yarlung. A lot also has to do with the rain, I think, because the rain just cleans up the air from that. Paris, yeah, like in the news, we often heard about it before. I don't know so much now.
Yeah, I think they were doing a lot of efforts, like renewing the road, creating special road only for bike. People are complaining every day. More and more buses, more and more MRT also. So I'm quite surprised that Taipei is crushing Paris like super hard again.
I also think that this entire, like, it's a survey, I think. I don't think they've actually gone out and analyzed the air pollution. And I also don't even know if it's only air pollution. It could just be like like cigarette garbage on the streets.
Okay, if we're talking about
So
cleanliness.
I think if we exchange pollution to like cleanliness,
Okay,
Then yes.
then yes,
The
okay.
MRT in France has not been cleaned since 1956.
Yeah, people shit in the street in Paris, so what can we do?
And one thing that, to summarize this slide here, the overall quality of life index in Taipei is high, whereas it's moderate in Paris.
I can understand.
Do we agree as to not
100%.
Parisians but French people here?
Totally. I mean, we both came here, I think, because we feel the quality of life is better.
Agreed.
So I can only agree to that. Quality of life in Taiwan is healthcare, safety. You can find cheap food, good food. You can travel everywhere super easily. You don't feel scared for your family so much if you have kids, stuff like that. I don't know. Every simple things of life in Taiwan is easy, convenient, made simple for people. I think reasonable price and compared to Paris. So yes, of course, Taipei is crushing Paris.
Okay. Yeah, and also more than here. I think it's the same picture in most of Europe. And based on like when I looked through the numbers, most Europeans like capitals were pretty much similar. Like comparing with Taipei. Like so when it comes to like the purchasing power and the cost of living, they all kind of follow like the same pattern. One thing here that we have for Taipei, the only thing that is like red and not good for Taipei is the property price to income ratio.
Yeah.
How to get a house. So just to clarify, there are different things here. Like we're going to talk about the average cost of living, which is basically going to be like food, transportation, and things like your basic needs. But sometimes the actual property and rent is not included in that, in this little survey here. But if we take a closer look at the property to income ratio, so these numbers assumes 100% mortgage on over 20 years for a house or apartment of 90 square meters, which is like 26 ping, maybe?
Okay, I would say 30. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's like
Around
I think it's like slightly more than like 3 point something.
Okay.
Something like this. So I don't even know if that's a standard Swedish house. I have no idea how many square meters my Swedish house is.
I think for Paris, 90 meters square is considered a quite nice apartment.
Yes, it's big.
So I don't know if they are talking about whole Taiwan or Taipei. Taipei.
So this is Taipei. This
And
is
Paris.
again, it's the cities: Taipei, Stockholm, and Paris. And this price to income ratio, Taipei is taking the lead with 29.2. That means that if you look at the average income for people living in Taipei, which according to this is 54,000 Taiwanese dollars. That is the average income for someone living in Taipei.
Yeah.
They pay 29% of that to rent on average here. Whereas in Stockholm is actually only 11% of the average Stockholm income. And then in Paris it's 17% for the average Paris income, which I believe was 80,000 Taiwanese dollars. And in Stockholm, it's 108,000 Taiwanese dollars.
Wow.
In average.
So you save a lot in Stockholm.
Well, you save a lot on the rent or the mortgage in this case to buy an apartment. Yeah. So how is it in Paris? Does this represent like your worldview?
For me, when I lived in Paris, I think always it was about 1/3, a little less maybe than 1/3 of the salary for the rent.
Yeah.
So I think 18% is quite low.
It seems low, yeah.
18% because if you say the average is like 2,500, so I don't know, 750 euro for an apartment, a little more.
I'm a little surprised that it seems to be almost half of Taiwan from this graphic, and yeah, But who am I to judge those serious statistics, right?
Yeah.
No, but I
You're
lived in
saying that my
Paris.
research is wrong?
I lived in Paris recently, and from what I checked, all the apartment I was looking for is about a third of my salary.
Mm.
If you own at least 20 meters square to rent.
Yeah. Yes. This is mortgage. If you would buy a house and divide it over
No,
20
but
years. I
In
don't know
Paris,
this
if you want
is-
to buy a house on 20 years that is 90 meters square,
Mm.
it's a little less than €1,000,000.
Okay.
So it doesn't take. It takes more than 20 years to pay back, I think.
Totally.
Especially if you
It's
pay
impossible.
16% of your rent,
Yeah.
of your salary.
So I don't know, this number
I
is
don't know.
weird.
Next slide.
So the video is basically French people judging serious statistics from
Yes. Yes.
from no source.
Because we have a lot more numbers here as well when it comes to the cost of living. And in this case, honestly, I don't remember right now if this is including rent or not. But this is an index which is using New York City as a baseline of 100. Don't ask me why it does this. But so for example, the Paris cost of living of 68.73 means 68% of how much it would cost to live in New York City. So we get the numbers right at least. So the cost of living when it comes to like actually like buying your groceries, riding your cabs somewhere, taking the metro, is higher in Paris than in Stockholm, and noticeably higher than in Taipei.
Totally agree.
What would be like the most noticeable cost living in Paris compared to like Taipei? What is something that it would be like noticeably more expensive?
Restaurants.
Mm.
And just going to do your groceries. If you buy local product, I mean, because in Taiwan you can also buy apple for €1 one apple, which is amazing. But if you buy local product, your groceries, the restaurant will be higher. I think your electricity bill is way higher in France than it is in Taiwan. So electricity including the gas, the energy, everything for your house. Already these three things, it's what I spend for almost my everyday life.
Yeah.
Food, electricity, and I forgot the last one.
Maybe one thing is if you take the price of a single metro ticket.
Yeah, also.
I think in Taipei it's a bit complicated because it depends on the length, but it's usually around $1 in average, right? And I think in France it's more like 2 or maybe
€2.
2.50. Yeah.
At least €2. It's the minimum price.
Even
So
if
it's
you want
double.
to do in a one station.
So it's
still have to
double.
pay.
And Paris subway is like 100 years ago. Old, sorry.
And haven't cleaned it for 65 years.
So I mean, yeah, totally the cost of living in Paris is super higher. You go in a restaurant for 2 people in Paris, you can already count 1,700 Taiwanese dollar at least, unless you go to a kebab. If you go to a kebab, now it's still expensive, like €9 per people, so $700. 2 people kebab. That's the cheapest thing you can have. 700.
What?
In Taiwan, you just go to Neolomien, 250, 2 people.
We're gonna talk more about the restaurants coming up, but I just wanted to check when you talked about like the subway tickets or like the Jiyun, because in Stockholm specifically, if you want to like go on the bus, then they have like it's just like one ticket. They don't care where you're going. So the way it charges you, like most people in Stockholm would just have like a 1 week or like 1 month like commuting cards. So most like Stockholm people would not really care about this. But for tourists or for me when I'm in Stockholm, if you just want to buy one bus ticket, it's €7.50, which is like 250.
Almost the price of a kebab.
Wow!
For
So it's
2
like
people.
it's like 250 NT, and the way it works is that you can go anywhere you want in entire Stockholm city within like 2 hours, which is like the longest bus route you can take within like from one station to another in Stockholm. But even if you're just gonna take like one single stop, you still have to buy the same ticket. So it's like unlimited rides for 2 hours. That's what you pay for.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous.
How can someone, like somebody who's like doing the whole management city for transportation, come up with this ridiculous idea, you know?
Yeah, I think the argument for why they have this is because, so this is only like if you go up and buy like a physical ticket. And if you can buy a single ticket with an app, it will be the same price. But the whole reason was they just wanted to make it smoother for everyone to buy a ticket, because the biggest issue with these people who just want to buy like a single ticket would be like they would go up on the bus and then they would have to like calculate where are you going to go, and wasting a lot of time, and then pay like depending on like which zone you're going to. So the number one reason for why this system is implemented is just to save the time, so the buses can go more on time.
Well, how come Taiwan comes up with another system where you swipe your Easy card when you come in and when you come out, and the price deduction is automatic and fair?
Yeah, so that would be like if you have a
But we
a
don't
card.
have a plan. Yeah, we have a card but no plan. We just load money.
Yes.
And I think they could do the same with Apple Pay or something, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Room for
But
improvement.
Swedish people also want to just make money on everything and anything possible. So.
I remember during the Olympic Games they raised the ticket price in Paris also,
Oh, yeah.
like from 2 to 4.5 euro, and everyone complained, and the answer from the mayor was, actually we don't want people to use public transport during this time because it will be too crowded. So we are just making it a crazy price for people to use it less.
At least they're very transparent.
Yeah,
about
exactly. That's the
Like what?
honest. We mentioned the restaurants and how much it would cost. We have a comparison here. This is numbers from Numbeo, which they have used as a reference for this like cost of living calculations, comparing the restaurant fees for Taipei and Paris. Just starting off like with a meal at an inexpensive restaurant, they have a base of 200 NT, which I would say is like pretty fair, like pretty good number for like a meal in an inexpensive restaurant.
Yeah, like Hong Kong Gan Mian.
Yeah, it's like Hong Shuan Yu Mian is like 180, and then you add like an egg for 15, so 195. In Paris, it's 512 Taiwanese dollars. Does this seem accurate?
For one person?
For one person, for one meal at an inexpensive restaurant.
No, I would say 10, not 15.
10 euros?
Yes.
So like 300 NT?
Yeah, more like...
Yeah, you can find, but then this is the very cheap end.
No, but because maybe you don't remember, but when I used to work in France, you know, the employer has to give you some money for your lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, it's mandatory from what I remember. And because now it's quite competitive, most of employer will give you some money. And what they give is usually the price of what it should cost to eat outside.
Okay.
And I got something like 10 euro per meal.
Ah.
So when I go to buy pasta outside or this kind, every shop will try to align with what the employer gave, so that everyone will go at this shop. So 10 euro, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, I trust you.
But when we say restaurant, you mean you sit and have a proper plate and stuff, maybe?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
What I'm talking about is more like fast food for lunch when you are working. Not a restaurant with maybe a bottle of wine or things like that.
Yeah, no, I don't think they had a bottle of wine here.
Yeah, maybe not inclusive, but it's like quick food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nancy, first time visiting this chat room. You are very, very welcome. Hope to see you next week as well for our next live stream here. When it comes to coffee, drinks, or like maybe a McDonald's might be the more relevant. Taipei 162 for a Mac meal at McDonald's or an equivalent combo. 410 Taiwanese dollars in Paris.
Yes.
Seems a little pricey.
No, I think it's about the price now. You haven't been there for a long time.
I was there for Christmas.
Ah, yeah. You went to McDonald's?
We went to... It was quick.
Quick. Okay, maybe you don't have that in Taiwan.
But 400?
We had quick in Sweden like 20 years ago, I think.
Oh.
No, I think now for one people, okay, no, they still have a very cheap meal, but if you take the basic Big Mac, Maxi Best of meal, it's about 11, I would say, euros. 12 euros is maybe on the Champs-Élysées. This one will be a little more, but 10 to 11 euro. Yeah, totally.
Wow,
Gotcha.
it's a big difference.
One thing here that I thought was quite interesting, if you compare like the beer, like a domestic beer, 0.5 liters, versus an imported beer, 0.33, it's around the same price in Paris.
It's literally the same price.
239 Taiwanese dollars,
Yeah.
whereas in Taiwan, it's like 50% more expensive with a smaller imported beer. And I felt like that kind of like represents how I feel about Taiwan as well. Like anything that is imported is just like a lot more like ridiculously expensive compared to like a Taiwanese version.
Yeah.
I don't drink beer myself, so not regarding like beer specifically, but when it comes to like Western food versus like Asian food, and in my case, like when I'm importing like cameras or like technology products, like a specific international brand compared to like a local equivalent, seems to be quite expensive here in Taiwan.
Like actually going to bar in Taiwan, I always noticed that alcohol was more expensive than in Paris.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. Paris, they have a lot of happy hours, last like I don't know, from 7 to 11:30 p.m. Where one
Very, very specific, very precise.
a long happy hour and a pint of beer is 3.5 to 4 euro.
Okay, so it's like
4.5.
100, 120 Taiwanese dollars.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like super cheap. Whereas in Taiwan, I don't know. I think it's $300, $400, something like that. Even cocktails in France, I think it was €5 for the happy hour, which is $160. In Taiwan, it's $400.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you know, again, judging these kind of studies, right? I feel it depends on some restaurants. If you go to a proper bar in Taipei, I totally agree, it's very expensive, I think. But if you go to a restaurant, this kind of rechao or something, you know,
No,
like the rechao, this restaurant, we have a lot of dish, it's like popular.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
In this case, you go by yourself, you open the fridge, take a
you
beer,
pay the- yeah.
and these ones are very cheap in
Okay.
general. And like they said, the price is 82 USD for a beer. I feel maybe the study comes from.
Taiwanese dollars. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the price probably comes from this type of restaurant.
Ah, okay, then we are not judging the same things. Bars and-
Maybe.
A Taiwanese rechao versus a French
Bar.
Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah, it's, but domestic beer, like I think Taiwan beer is quite famous in Taiwan, and it's
Yeah,
usually very cheap, at least in the convenience store or something.
Even in a bar, do they serve Taiwanese beer?
It's definitely more expensive in a bar, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. When it comes to alcohol and stuff, I don't have no say in this. I just know that the Swedish alcohol tax is like crazy. So alcohol is like super expensive in Sweden,
Wow.
and just because of the tax, it's cheaper for a Swedish person to, if a Swedish person wants to buy Swedish beer, it is cheaper to drive down to Denmark and to buy the beer in Denmark
Wow.
and then drive back home again
Wow.
than to go into a Swedish store and buy the same Swedish beer in like Stockholm, for example.
That's crazy.
Just because of the tax.
We
Yeah.
cannot do that in France. We have wine.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need to have our cheap wine, like 3-4 euro for a bottle. So
Yeah, I think that's why we have such a bad rumor down in Denmark, because all the Swedes they see there is like just
Coming by
drunk
alcohol.
kids who drives down there, buy alcohol and drive back too. Plus, in Denmark you can drink when you're 16.
oh,
So like everyone that lives like somewhat like south of Sweden, when they turn like 16,
they go there.
they just go to Denmark and get drunk and then like
I mean, even in France it's 18,
yeah.
and we have wine everywhere. I mean, they say 18, but you can.
In Sweden, it's very strict actually. Like in Sweden, you can drink in a restaurant when you're 18, but you cannot purchase alcohol in a store and bring back home until you're 21.
Wow.
But you can go and first pay like a premium and then more expensive in an actual restaurant or a bar.
No, in France it's 18, but usually you will send your friend that looks older. They won't get ID'd and you will have what you want.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Or just taking your parents' choti.
Gotcha. Speaking about looking old, I feel like your hairline has started to like.
Cannot talk about it. I'm sorry. I don't know if some people are interested to know what was my last experience at the barber shop. I don't know if it's a barber shop in Rome.
Yeah.
Okay, if you guys are interested, let us know. I will share. I'm not sure it's super interesting.
Last time I came to a barber shop was 10 years ago.
Ah, because you cut your hair by
Yeah.
yourself now.
And I'm afraid to go now. It's like so awkward for me. I don't dare to go ever again.
Even for me, I go like every 6 weeks. It's still like just as awkward.
Why?
I
Why
feel,
is it awkward?
I feel like, first of all, like a Taiwanese standard haircut is very different compared to a Swedish standard haircut, and like they would like save this like little area back here, so it's kind of like a
You mean a triangle on the back?
exactly like a
have it,
Taiwanese triangle,
Yeah.
which is like I hate so much. And then I have to ask them like, and I wanted like same as you have, but I
Yeah.
wanted like higher up, so it's like it's shaved up until like here, and it's like completely shaved because like as soon as it starts to grow up, like it just like gets out like this. It looks like I'm wearing like a like this part here, you know.
I understand.
And everyone refuses to do it. I have to tell them like 3 times, like please cut more, and then they're like, no, it's gonna look like weird, and I'm like, it's like my hair, you know? I grow it myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you don't go anymore? Or you still
I go every time, but every time I leave disappointed compared to like Sweden, and they just like do it right away without having seen.
Actually, when I go to a haircut, usually I don't know what I want, and I'm just like, okay, do your job, make me handsome, and I hope it would work.
Dude, they're not miracle workers, you know.
Okay, no, especially for $200. And I must say, last time they failed a little. Maybe I will show later
Yeah.
what happened.
Do they share?
If someone gives a super chat, we will tell the full story about Germain's visit to a Taiwanese barbershop.
And I will show a closer look on the camera. On my hair.
Yeah. It's definitely worth the money. Yeah.
Do they share the price difference of a haircut between Taiwan and
I
Paris and Sweden?
I couldn't see it. In Sweden, it would start at like 50 euros.
50.
Okay.
So it's like 1,500 Taiwanese dollars.
50
for like
for a gorilla or for a human?
for a human, and it includes like washing the hair and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they don't do like the massage.
That's the
So
best part.
it's just like okay, done, boom.
The weird thing in France, they do they wash the hair before cutting the hair, which what happens is when you finish your haircut, you have all this small hair everywhere, and they don't clean everything. So the whole day you are like this, you know, with all the small hair. And in Taiwan, again, they are smart. They clean in the end. So they remove all the small shitty hair. Sometimes they remove too much hair. I won't say too much. And I'm so surprised why in France we still don't do that. No, but in France I think it's about 20 to 25 euro for a guy for a normal cut with a shampoo also.
And
Without the
Taiwan,
massage.
like you said, 200 so it's like 6
€6.
7
Yeah.
for the cheapest ones.
No, the cheapest one in Taiwan now is 110.
Oh.
Before I used to go to the $100 Taiwanese cut. Now it's 110. I think they raised a little their price. But there is also a Taiwanese stylish salon where you pay, I don't know how much they pay, $2,000 for a full experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
When I did my hair color, I paid like $1,500. So if you go to see, let's say, I don't know if I can say more professional because I hope the $200 one is still professional, but they have their own stylish, I don't know, things, and they are in a more cozy salon with a good atmosphere, then you pay more.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Speaking about paying more, the last thing I wanted to talk about today was actually my own personal cost of living here in Taiwan.
Wow.
During the month of January, I made a little experiment based on Union's recommendation that I should start to keep track on my expenses. I wish I wouldn't have done that because what I realized was that, let's see if we have it up here. I spend more money than I make. This is my personal actual income and spending in the month of January. Short answer, I had 100,000 in expenses, and I only made 65,000 on my income with my YouTube channel and
Okay.
my Instagram reels. They gave me like 17 NT left in January, I think. Let's see if we can also get some.
I see snacks and candy are one category on their own.
Yes, but
Very specific.
How much? in
but
snacks and
please
candy?
note
93.
it's only 93 Taiwanese dollars
Okay, 2 tweaks, it's okay.
for a whole month. I think that's very, very good.
You know the price of Twix is crazy high now. Like all the Twix, Kinder,
There is
is
a whole
49
market.
NT. Have you seen that recently?
Not for Twix.
It was 45 yesterday.
It was 35 a couple years ago.
Oh really?
Yeah.
The
Shit.
Twix market is crazy.
I heard it's chocolate. It's like a chocolate shortage in like the entire world.
Okay.
Because I'm crazy about chocolate,
Yeah.
I buy it every day, and I really feel it in my daily expense now.
Yeah, my 49 NT out of those 93 was like the Dove chocolate. Like
Yes.
the best one is the Dove chocolate, which crunchy. It has like the
Yeah.
crunchy parts inside.
And it's 49, I think.
Yes, that one is 49. I know.
But it used to be much cheaper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But for that, I'm waiting for my Isong E promotion. They have it quite often.
Or like
in 7.
you add 10 NT, you get another one.
Yes. Well, you know the good deals.
But yeah, so basically, the biggest expense was home, which has one transaction, and that's my rent.
52%.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's my personal cost of living. It's not completely accurate because like I pay the rent, but it's the rent for 2 people.
Ah, okay.
So like if we would look at Minthia's cost of living, she will pay 0 rent, right? This is how we have to see this. So it's not only like myself. And before my mom watches this and freaks out that I spend more money than I make, this was also during Lunar New Year, where I spent quite a lot of money on hongabaos, which are the gifts in this
Red
transaction here.
envelopes.
So the red envelopes was single-handedly what made me make a loss in the month of January.
Huh. Those parents.
Yeah. Other than that, I just wanted to check with Yuan, because the whole reason for why we started this was, I remember last time we sat here and we talked about how much you are spending per month.
Yeah.
You said something along the lines of like 60,000-70,000 Taiwanese dollars, I believe, and no one believed you because it seemed like super high.
Yeah. So the thing is, I feel a lot of people, when they count how much their expense is, they don't consider a lot of one-time purchase through the year.
Yes.
For example, if you buy one plane ticket, 30,000 during the year, it actually adds 3,000 per month on average. So
Yeah.
a lot of small of those expenses actually grow your monthly expense. This kind of expense to me is approximately the same as me, I would say. But just like I said, I think it depends a lot on those one-time purchases. Like last year, I went to France and I paid for my girlfriend plane ticket. I think the whole trip together is more than 100,000 NT, including some small trips, going to ski, going to London. So those 100,000 is basically 10,000 per month extra.
Yeah.
So it can go high pretty fast, but of course it's my own choice to pay for these big trips. I could decide to stay in Taipei most of the time and I just go to Ilan twice a year and my expense would be very low.
Nothing wrong with Ilan. Why are we?
No. I mean, it's nearby, right? It's not too far and it's easy to go.
Yeah.
So you said Taiwanese were shocked by how much he spent per month, right?
I was shocked.
Oh, you were
I
shocked?
was shocked because it sounded like so high.
It was a video where we talked about guess how much the average rent, average monthly expenses, and I said I don't know 60, 70, because I knew myself it's around that area, and everybody's like, what? That's crazy.
Yes.
But I wonder in the chat, how much do they spend in average per month?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let us
You
know.
guys know?
I'm super curious because I don't have to pay rent at the moment, So I feel I really pay almost nothing per month.
Yeah.
Rent is like as you 50% of what I used to pay. Then I just buy food basically,
Yeah.
and some small dates or going out here and there.
Yeah.
So maybe I spend, I don't know, 5 to 10,000 a month, and that's
This
it.
guy saves a
Lucky.
lot.
And that's it. The most expensive of my week is when I'm coming to Taipei to see my friends. Actually,
300 NT. Oh my god. I will never recover financially.
when I come here, I pay for the train, but then we go to a coffee, we go to a restaurant, we go to there and there.
Yeah.
For pizza.
Yeah, for small pizza for $300 and things like that.
Yeah.
But other than that, if you don't have to pay a rent, and I feel most of Taiwanese live with parents, so they don't have to pay a rent, then they just go out and buy small food, small things, and maybe that's why they will also feel 60,000 for months is a super high budget.
Mm.
I don't know. I'm super surprised. Not surprised, but
Curious. Yeah.
Guys, please tell us what's in your mind an average budget for months of living in Taipei, including rent, please.
Yeah, as you said, because there's a lot of like expenses. There's like one-time things, right? And like looking here, like I have on YouTube, I have 1,311 NT, which is like my monthly subscriptions for like my background music and for like all the effects and stuff, and even this live stream software. It's like a monthly expense that I have to pay just to be able to work and do this. But then I know like next month I have a lot of them like on annual payments. So it's like only once per year. And I know like in April I'm gonna have like the biggest one. It's gonna be like 12,000 Taiwanese dollars in like one sake, just to get like my B-roll and everything like in my videos.
Yeah, like you pay your YouTube Drive, your Google Drive, your Photoshop, your stuff.
Yeah.
All the stuff.
No, I must say I don't have any of that. Also, I pay YouTube Premium, $200 per month.
Yeah, that's part of my entertainment there as well, actually. I don't even know what the remaining is, but yeah, not much.
Entertainment. How much you have per month?
I have
$900.
915
Wow.
Taiwanese dollars fund per month.
You are working too much. You are not entertaining enough.
And I think actually 300 NT out of this is me and Minthia going and playing these like ball games during Lunar New Year. Not ball.
Like arcade games.
It's like this like for kids. That is just like you buy like 100 small metal balls that you just like.
So what, do you have a bear at the end as a gift, or?
I think we won like a keychain.
A keychain.
Yeah. For
amazing.
Like 300 Taiwanese dollars.
No, but I mean it's for kids.
Yes, we gave that away.
That's
later as
normal.
well.
Yeah. So give that the home. That's the home bao.
Gifts are hongbao, yeah.
Food and drink also actually depends if you eat at home or.
Yeah, this was actually surprisingly a lot because Minthia most of the time. Well, so
it's you and her or just you?
It's actually mainly Minthia.
Okay.
But we also have groceries for 3,400 because Minthia does most of the grocery shopping. So if you would look at this household per se, I would say like Minthia has bought like 8,000 worth of groceries maybe per month.
Okay.
Normally. But I was surprised that having like the food and drink. But this is because we had Lunar New Year in January, so we were traveling, and then when I pay when we go traveling, then of course I pay for both me and Minthia.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have a separate label in my app for Minthia, and I can show you like right now just how much it cost me.
But actually, I feel in Taiwan, especially in Taipei, it's sometimes cheaper to eat outside than to eat at home. If you eat outside every day for, I won't say $50. Before I was buying, when I was student, $50 bientong.
Yeah.
And I think if you want to die in the next few days, it's a very good way. Though I'm a little exaggerating, but it was the cheapest thing that I could find when I was student. And I was super happy with it actually. At the time I was like, what, $50 for a bientong rice and stuff?
Yeah.
Nowadays I'm thinking, wow, I really ate that every day for like 4 months. I was a little bit crazy. But nowadays if you go to shopping in Jialufu, actually you pay way more than if you just go to restaurant every day. Someone is cooking for you. You don't have to clean everything. I mean, I don't understand that. How possible it's cheaper when you go to a restaurant than when you cook at home and do the things by yourself?
I mean, it also depends on like what you're buying and what you're eating.
No, but even the small restaurant, like we said, the inexpensive restaurant in Taiwan, the quality is high enough, and there is a big variety of things you can have.
Yeah.
It's good enough. I did that for a super long time, and I was like, that's amazing. I can have my gotier, I can have my neolomian, I can have my I don't blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
In France, it's kebab, 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 and that's the cheapest thing you can find, basically.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I think that this live stream might go towards its end, and it's time for us to go and have some dinner and see if Germain's statement is true, that it is actually cheaper to eat outside here in Taiwan than to cook yourself at home.
So no one requests the small story about my hair?
No one cares about your hair.
Guys.
No.
Okay, no, but I will keep it for next time.
For membership, maybe.
Yes. Yeah. Anything else that we've missed that you feel like it's worth to mention about?
You mean about the overall?
About anything, yeah.
My conclusion is that I think I am saving way more money in Taiwan compared to what I would save in France for the same lifestyle. So,
Definitely.
Taiwan, very good job.
Yeah.
What would you say would be like out of everything that we have talked about today, not including rent, like for like the cost of living, what would be like the biggest price difference that you're doing here in Taiwan? How much more would you have paid in France? Or if there's anything else that was cheap in France that you have to pay like extra for here in Taiwan?
Like we said earlier, I think restaurants is the biggest difference. I could never afford to eat every day or every other day at the restaurant in France. But in Taiwan, it's really no big deal. You choose the right place, you choose a cheap place, and it's totally fine.
But I mean, to talk a little bit about that, because I have friends that have restaurant in France, the tax and stuff like that are totally different. I know that in Taiwan, a lot of small shop just take the money and everyone is happy. In France, if you do that, it's really easy to get caught, to have big fine. So most of people declare everything they win, so they pay a lot of tax. The electricity is more expensive, and when you have employees, you have to pay a lot of tax on them.
Yes.
So I think all of this, small by small, makes that the price in the end of your plate is more expensive, and so less people will go to restaurant. So actually it's a little bit weird. Maybe if the government took less, it would be cheaper, more people will go to restaurant, and then in the end the government will have the same money because the shop will make more money. So I think that's a good thing in Taiwan. Like I feel they are like, okay, if you guys work hard, then we are happy. If you make your money, it's okay if you don't tell us everything, as long as you make food for everyone. Yeah, I mean, I feel it's a way more community thinking than in France, where we only think about us. The government want to take more and more, then killing the small restaurant, killing the cities, the atmosphere and everything. So that's why I love it here. The system and how they think for the communities it's always amazing.
I was going over these numbers like myself, just like trying to remember how much I paid back home in Sweden. And for me, it was like the gas. If we just have like the gas as a single like category, because not only like in Sweden, it would be like maybe like 55 NT per liter in comparison. But in Sweden, it's also like the distances are much longer and you need to drive a car. Compared to like driving a scooter like 99% of the time here in Taiwan. So like I remember when I was living in Sweden and I had like a gas category which was like, you know, 8,000-9,000 Taiwanese dollars per month.
Wow.
Just to like support my way of living back home in Sweden, driving a car everywhere. And if I want to go see my friend, it's 15 minutes one way in a car on like a highway, and then it's like 15 minutes back. Whereas here it's like maybe 2 minutes on a scooter, which I don't even know how much that will cost.
$10.
Yeah, something like that.
$5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use scooter a lot now recently, and I don't know, it's just $100 to fill the tank.
Mm.
And I'm like, I just drove for 1 week already. $100,
Yeah.
€3.
Taiwan dollar.
Taiwan
dollar.
dollars. Yes.
Wow, that's super cheap. That's amazing.
Super cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was everything for this week. If anyone wants to know more about our lives here in Taiwan, or just about us in general, you have at least my channel up here, you have Yuanyuan's there, and for Germain you need to find this mysterious female Taiwanese YouTuber which will share anything and everything about Germain's life.
Let me give a
in Taiwan.
hint. I won't say more.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Lucas. Starts with L as in like, ends with S as in subscribe. Please do both, and see you all in the next one.